Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do another tutorial for you guys. I'm feeling very sort of autumnal or fall vibes because I was going through my kit and I came across this lip product. It's one of the Powermatte pigments from NARS and it's like a really deep, rich sort of like reddy brown, and I just thought it would be amazing to have like a punchy, bold lip tutorial for autumn. So if you want to see that, keep on watching. Of course, the very moment I start, like, things keep happening outside, loads of loud noises, so I'm sorry if you hear them. But basically we're going to start with the skin. I'm not doing heavy eyes today, so I can move straight onto it. I want to go dewy and glowy as usual. I'm dry, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I need dewy, glowy, lovely, like, sumptuous skin products. So I'm going to go in first with a liquid highlighter from Suqqu, and I'm just taking that along the higher planes of my face. Just really up on these cheekbones. This product is really lovely and it actually sets on the skin, so you don't have to worry about it going anywhere, which is obviously really important. It's mainly just going on the cheekbones and a little bit on my nose. On the back of my last video introducing you to the Suqqu Nude Wear Foundation, I'm going to use that today. I'm going to use shade 002. This product needs to be shaken up really, really well. You might even be able to hear how liquidy this is. I'm kind of not really sure my shade at the moment because it has, you know, like, winter's kind of really hit, and I'm feeling much paler than I was over summer. With lockdown, I managed to stay, I managed to get out in the sun a lot in the garden, so I was like deeper than I've ever been before, but now I think that's all gone away. This foundation is really, really light. It keeps the glow in my skin. And I just think the finish is really, really pretty. I'm recording in natural light today so that you can see how the products actually sit on skin. I know that during winter a lot of people like to go in for more coverage on their base. I think it's because when it's lower light you kind of, I don't know, you can get away with a little bit more coverage, a little bit more foundation, but I've just never been that big a fan of, you know, sort of fuller, heavier, cakier makeup. So I'm just going to go in with a bit of concealer there to just basically like spot correct any little blemishes or little areas that I just want to tidy up a little bit, rather than going in with something more full coverage over my face. I think just around the sides of my nose I get very red in winter. A little bit on my chin. I've got a few teeny blemishes. And this is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. Might be not quite the right colour for me, but I'm going to pop a little bit in here as well, just because I'm feeling maybe I do need the teensiest bit of coverage. But now that that's on the skin, I'm just going to blend out, and then it'll all seamlessly work in together. Okay, so I think that's me a little bit more put together. I haven't done my under eyes yet because I feel like just in case anything moves around when I'm doing my eyes, I'll be able to just clean up straight up after. But it's a bit weird seeing the sort of like blue shadow under there with like everything else looking much better. I'm going to start off priming my eyes with the NARS Smudge Proof Primer. I'm using this because I've got hooded eyes, which you might not see from the angle, but basically my lids touch one another with the hood, so if I don't put an eye base, sometimes I can find that the eyeshadow creases. This shade I think is light, and it really just helps to even out the colour on my lids as well, which I think is quite important if you are putting some nice shadows down. Just acts as a really good base. The eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using today is also from Suqqu. I feel like I'm really mad repping Suqqu in this video, and it's the 102 eyeshadow palette. I feel like I should hide that mirror. It's just a really pretty palette, and I've used it quite a few times before, and I've been using it as the mirror today, so I thought, why not just double up? I'm going to basically go for sort of like pinky, rusty tones on the eyes to complement the dark lip. So I'm firstly laying down this colour all over the eyes. It's just sort of an easy pinky champagne. I find the pigment in these so gently and finely milled that they just go on like butter. I know a lot of people like to set their eyeshadow base before going in with powders, but I just don't find there's ever any skipping with these. So I just don't need to. Now, if you have a hooded eye like me, tilt your head back and just go in above the hood so that you end up with eyeshadow just above when you're looking straight ahead. You just need it to be peeking out that little bit above and follow the eye shape. Keep checking in with yourself and just see once you're looking directly ahead, is there any eyeshadow you know, showing above that line when your eyes are open. Now that we've got a wash of colour all over the eye, I'm going to go in with this sort of like pinky, purpley reflect shade just in the centre of the lid for a little bit of dimension. It's got a little bit of glitter in it, so in real life it'll look really sort of pretty as I walk around. I haven't really thought whether or not this is like a day or an evening thing, but I guess it's up to you. I just think the little bit of extra dimension is pretty on the sort of mobile lid, on the inside and into the centre. You'll never in your life ever find me doing any makeup, any eyeshadow, ever without using an eyelash curler. So just go in, these are my Shimmer Uemuras, my tried and trues, and give a real curl from the root. Anyone with hooded eyes like me knows that this is an absolute lifesaver and miracle worker in making your mascara look better, making your eyes look more open, and it just frames the eye in a fabulous way. I'm going straight in with the Zoeva Graphic Lash Mascara, and I've taken off the excess from the wand because I really don't want too much lash with this. I don't want to hide away all the lovely work that we've got. I want the eyes to still remain quite light and effortless because we are going in for the big lip. So for any of my hooded guys and gals out there, you'll know that at this point we can't put liner on, because as soon as I put liner on, it's going to take up the whole of my eyelid and you're not going to see any of it at all. But I do need the extra definition just at the base of the lash, so I'm going to press the darkest shadow, which is this brown, from the palette, right in the waterline underneath my eyelashes. It's a bit of an uncomfortable thing to do for when you do it for the first couple of times, but when you see the difference that it makes, you will want to keep doing it. You can do this trick with any eyeshadow really, any deeper eyeshadow, browns, blacks. You can do it with gel liner, with a pencil, but I just thought since I'm only using one product I might as well just keep using everything that's in here. And the angled brush is the winged liner from Zoeva. Any tiny fine little liner brush is good. I went for like the sort of warmer brown because I think it just makes the green in my eyes stand out even more against the nice pinks. So we're back to concealer now that we've finished the eyes. I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way again. The shade's in Almond, and I'm just going to take that right into the inner corner. I guess that's quite yellow, maybe more noticeable now, but I have a lot of darkness in the inner corner, so I really focus it in there, and then when I blend I'll take it further out towards the eye. I don't want to put loads of products out in the corners because that's where my smile lines are, and it's going to settle in those far too easily, and then I'll be creasy and crunchy all day long. Just using a synthetic blending brush for this one. Make sure that I do get right into the corners of the eyes and then drag along underneath. Some people find if they have a really strong line underneath their eye that they can't go as close to the bottom of the lashes with their concealer, but for me I tend to be okay with that. I don't tend to crease in that little line under there. It's just mainly out by the corners. And you can just see how by adding this brightness it just completely changes everything. Makes me look a million times more awake and also more flawless. I think concealer under the eyes is a very, very important step. Powder is definitely an optional step, but I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless, only because I'm a little bit shiny in the middle of my forehead, but I'm using an unbelievably fluffy brush, so it puts almost nothing on there. You know, dry skin people hate powder. It doesn't sit well on our skin. It makes us feel a little bit uncomfortable. However, I found if you put the lightest amount on and you use the Airbrush Flawless powder, because it's so finely milled, everything is okay. So it's time for the product that inspired this whole video, the Powermatte Lip Paint in Rock With You. This is something from my kit. So normally if I had it for myself, I would just use it straight from the applicator. It's actually quite a handy applicator, but I'm going to take this off, put it on my hand and use a lip brush to work it in. Now I must say I'm not always a liquid lipstick kind of person, and when I say not always I mean almost never, but there's something about the formula of these from NARS that are just incredible. Just be really careful when you're applying that, because with a bold colour like this, if you make one mistake, you're going to be a bit lost. What you can see that I'm doing here is that I'm applying most of the colour to sort of like the centre of the lip and then gently brushing it out. It works the product into the lip so that it's more longer lasting, but also means that it's just a little bit easier because the natural movement just takes the colour to the edges of your lips. Frustratingly, I've just realised that I lost some of the footage that I'd just taken, so I'm going to talk you through what I did. I was basically going to say that with your lips, at some point you've just got to let go. I know we want to be perfect, but it's quite hard to be. Our lips aren't all perfectly shaped. I sometimes think that overdrawing them on one side and not the other to try and even them out can make them look a bit strange. This packs a real pigment punch, so I just whacked a load of it on and then I went around the side with a little bit of Currant lip liner from MAC. I also went back to my eyeshadow palette and used some of this sort of orangey shade just underneath the eye to balance out a little bit. One thing you might have noticed earlier on in the video is that these colours were making me look very sort of sickly and pale, and that's why I went in with this gorgeous blush. I went back with the Hakuhodo powder brush from before that I used, and because it's this kind of like lovely nudie shade, it's 121 in the pure colour blush from Suqqu, and I just swiped it across the cheeks really gently and across the forehead, the high planes in general, so even on the chin and on the nose, and it just ties that look back together, brings health back to my face, because before I was just this sort of like big clean pancake with no dimension in the face and with like these colours that can make you look a little bit sickly and ill. So once you've got this blush on, it's got a little bit of shimmer in, brings life back to the skin. I think it just all draws it together. And the very final step to make sure that you're not going to look sort of drawn and tired is to get one of these sort of skin tone pencils and just go into the waterline and bringing that clarity back to the eyes. You've got two ways to go really when you are using these sort of tones that can make you look a bit sick or a little bit, you know, sore, the pinky sort of tones, and that's either you take black to ground it or you take a sort of flesh tone and pop it in the inner waterline, and it makes it look a little bit less red. So here we are, the final look. I hope you like it. It's very sort of like grungy autumn winter. I don't know, it's maybe a little bolder than I was expecting to go, but I do like it. The skin actually, I don't know if it will translate on camera, but is super natural. Because we are playing up the lips and the eyes a bit, you kind of need to have that sort of really natural skin. Suqqu products are great for that. It's just an expensive look, and I absolutely love it. And we're shooting in daylight so you can see exactly how it looks. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, please pop them below. Do let me know. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you did, and I'll see you again next time. Bye guys.